If I could guarantee you guys two things tonight, I would guarantee you this. Number one, we're at 200 subscribers right here on the Big Fight Field channel. I can guarantee you that. So I want to say thank you to everybody that has supported the channel. Give me feedback on my reviews. Hit that like button. Share the channel. Subscribe to the channel. All that. 200 subscribers is a big deal to me. And I'm only going to get better. And I'm only going to get stronger here in the YWC. In the YouTube wrestling community. So, thank you to everybody who subscribed to the channel and got me to 200 subscribers. I will have more on that on Monday night's Raw review. And then the second thing I can guarantee. This was a long ass show. This was a long show tonight. This was a really good show. Okay, of course I see criticism online. Because every time there's an AEW pay-per-view, there's got to be some sort of criticism. And tonight, people were saying this show sucked. This was disappointing. AEW's a failure. All that stuff. And I really think most people, they're just doing it to shit on AEW. And they're trying to be cool. And you're not being cool whatsoever. Was this show great tonight? No. This show was not great tonight. I thought this was a really good show, though. But the show was not great, like I intended for it to be. The first half, I'm not even going to talk about the buy-in, because I just want to get into the main show stuff. It's freaking midnight here, and I got to work tomorrow. But I'm not going to cut you guys off. I'm going to give you a good, all-out review right here. The first half of the show was a bust. Everything outside of Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express was mediocre at best. And I mean, we'll get to the match. I don't want to talk about it now. I want to go in match order, but we got a lot to talk about tonight. The first half, I thought, was an absolute bust. From Thunder Rosa to Hikaru, from Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida, all the way until that great main event between MJF and Jon Moxley. That second half of All Out was awesome. That was awesome. I really enjoyed the second half of All Out. Kind of like SummerSlam. This show was kind of like SummerSlam. Was SummerSlam a great show? No, it wasn't. SummerSlam, the first half of SummerSlam was a dud. The second half was great. And that's what I got tonight. So, All Out and SummerSlam have the same similarities. So, I mean, let's just get into the show. We got a lot to talk about. We got to the main card. We had fans there tonight, which I'll talk about. I got a major announcement at the end of this video regarding next Wednesday's Dynamite and stuff. So this show started off with the tooth and nail match between Dr. Britt Baker and Big Swole. Big Swole arrived at the office, and clearly the woman checking her in was Reba, and this was a setup. Britt Baker set her up. Britt Baker attacked Big Swole. For the most part, it was a two-on-one. It was a two-on-one handicap match until they were on top of Rolls Royce, and Big Swole dumped Reba into the trash can. Then they got inside, and it was just Swole and Baker for a while. Swole gave Baker a forearm, and then Reba came back in. She had a banana peel on her head. Swole gave her a picture frame, and she gave her a twisted elbow into Reba's face with the picture frame. Then Big Swole does the elbow to Britt Baker. She takes the oxygen mask, which has anesthesia on it. She puts it over Britt Baker's face. Britt Baker passes out. And Big Swole won this match, which I did not think was going to happen at all. Now, I did enjoy this. I actually thought this was a very enjoyable opener. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was short. It was 10 minutes. I enjoyed it for what it was. There were people on social media complaining, "Oh, this sucked. This was terrible. How could this be?" Like, what'd you guys expect? This was supposed to be short. It was supposed to be a nice, fun little match. And I see people complaining about it. "Oh, this was terrible." It wasn't terrible. It was fun for what I thought it was. Now, clearly, after what we saw in the second match, this should have not opened the show. If anything, this should have been the second match on the show. And the match we should have opened up with was the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. Because that match was great. That was a great tag team match with the Young Bucks and the Jurassic Express. With the Young Bucks showing heel tactics once again to the Jurassic Express. And they were even playing heel. They were playing up to the crowd as heels, which I loved. And Jungle Boy went to go shake Nick Jackson's hand, and Nick swatted the hand away. He swatted the hand away from Jungle Boy. And then the action got started. It wasn't fast the entire time. It was slow, methodical. And then Jungle Boy made the babyface comeback. And who gets the hot tag? But Big Man Luchasaurus. Big Man Luchasaurus gets the hot tag, and he is on fire. Luchasaurus hits the choke slam, standing moonsault, bicycle kick to Matt Jackson. Very close near falls. Then Jungle Boy dives on to Nick Jackson. Luchasaurus hits a destroyer, I believe, or like landed on top of his head. Maybe it's a brain buster or something. I'm not really sure what that was, but it was some destroyer of sorts. Then Matt Jackson was on the outside. You had Marco Stunt there, who was in a crutch with a boot from his broken foot. Matt Jackson kicked the crutch away, and Matt Jackson super kicked Marco in the face. I don't know why, but that was pretty hilarious. But then towards the end, Bucks go for Meltzer Driver. Luchasaurus gets in. Luchasaurus takes out Matt Jackson. Jurassic Express hit their finisher, and I thought this was where it was it. And Matt Jackson tackled Luchasaurus on top of Jungle Boy. Then Nick Jackson hit a super kick, and Jungle Boy kicked out. Then Luchasaurus took himself out by trying to dive on Matt Jackson, but he dove on the wrestlers in the crowd instead, and Matt moved. Then the Bucks hit a double super kick on Jungle Boy. The Jungle Boy kicked out. Then they hit BTE Trigger, and that was it. This was a great tag team match. I knew this was going to be a great tag team match. And after watching this match, I was like, after they put on such a great tag team match, which I knew they were going to, how did this not open the show? This would have been a great way to open up the show. I'm not taking anything away from what Britt Baker and Big Swole did. I actually enjoyed the tooth and nail match. I thought it was fun for what it was, but this would have been so much better for an opener than that match with Britt Baker and Big Swole. That's all I'm going to say. Young Bucks got the win, and we move on to the Casino Battle Royal. And if you guys know me, and when I mostly review Battle Royals, I hate Battle Royals. I'm not really a big fan of them. Unless it's like a Royal Rumble. I'm a fan of the Royal Rumble. Battle Royals, I don't know. I just can't get into them. They're messy. And it's really not good until we get to the final 5. But we started off with Trent, Christopher Daniels, Jake Hager, The Blade, and Rey Fenix. And then the next 5 were Frankie Kazarian, Will Hobbs, who we've seen on Dark, who I'm happy is getting a spot. If anyone, I have not watched Dark in a month because of work and all that stuff, and now it's going to be even harder with school. But if anybody who's been featured on Dark a lot deserved to get a spot tonight in that Battle Royal, it was Will Hobbs. So the fact that we saw Will Hobbs in that Battle Royal tonight, it made me happy because the man deserves it. He's very good, and he'll probably be under contract in AEW sooner rather than later. I'd be shocked if he isn't already. Then we get Chuck Taylor, and then both Santana and Ortiz, and they attack Chuck right away, and they take care of Chuck. Then we get a couple eliminations. We get Billy Gunn, Pentagon Jr., Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, and then Darby Allin. And then immediately, Billy got eliminated by Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. And then, of course, Darby and Ricky Starks were going at it together. And Darby actually eliminated Ricky Starks. So then Darby was going at it with Brian Cage. Ricky Starks pulls Darby out of the ring, and they brawl on the outside. He throws Darby into the ring post, and then Ricky Starks throws Darby back in the ring. Ricky Starks goes under the ring, and he pulls out a body bag, and he gives it to Cage. Cage opens the body bag, and then he pours Taxus inside of them. He puts Darby Allin inside the body bag, and he launches Darby Allin over the top rope, and Brian Cage eliminated Darby Allin in what was by far the best thing on that entire Battle Royal. That spot right there, that was great. That was a great spot right there by Brian Cage to Darby Allin. Then we got the next 5. We got Shawn Spears, Eddie Kingston, The Butcher, Sonny Kiss, and Lance Archer. And then we was expecting who is going to be the Joker of this match. I tweeted out it was going to be Nick Aldis. And Nick Aldis or Eddie Kingston was going to win this Battle Royal. It was neither of them. I mean, Eddie Kingston was in it already, but it was in fact Matt Sydal. And it was not a good debut for Matt Sydal because he goes right after Shawn Spears. He goes on the top rope. He goes for his... If you guys know who Matt Sydal is, he was Evan Bourne in WWE. He goes for his airborne finisher, and he slips, and he does a horrible botch. Slips, completely misses his opponent, and I'm like, oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. I felt so bad for Matt Sydal. He is going to be a meme on social media for the rest of his life. When people revisit this match, if they choose to, this will be the one thing that's remembered throughout the entire match. I felt so bad for Matt Sydal after this. I felt really bad for him. So I'm just going to skip to the final 5, because up until the final 5, this thing was like I said, this thing was a mess. Battle Royals are always a mess. I hate Battle Royals until we get down to the final 5. But we were down to Brian Cage, Matt Sydal, Lance Archer, The Butcher, and Eddie Kingston. So we had The Butcher and Eddie Kingston on one team. We had Sydal and Brian Cage going at it on the apron. And then Lance Archer knocked both of them off. And then we were down to Eddie Kingston, The Butcher, and Lance Archer. Lance Archer took out The Butcher we were down to Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer, who were fighting on the top turnbuckle. And then Jake Roberts had the black bag. We all know what was in that black bag. We got the Butcher and the Blade trying to help out Eddie Kingston. Lucha Brothers were not out there at the end. Lance Archer knocked both of them off. Jake swung the bag with the snake inside of it to Eddie Kingston. And Lance Archer chokeslammed Eddie onto the Butcher and the Blade. And Lance Archer won this Casino Battle Royal. And like I said, this was a mess up until the Final 5. The Final 5 was pretty fun. Lance Archer won this match. I'm not really surprised by it. So now, people were now like, oh, Lance Archer, when he lost to Cody back at Double or Nothing, oh, Lance Archer's buried. Well, they're wasting Lance Archer. Lance Archer's a waste. Look at you now. Look at you now. You all get laughed in the face. Lance Archer is now competing in a World Championship match. Probably at the next pay-per-view, because it's 8 weeks away. They announced it tonight that we're getting Full Gear on Saturday, November 7th. Excuse me. We're getting that Saturday, November 7th. I don't even want to talk about this. It upsets me that I have to talk about this. I'm gonna get by it as fast as possible. We had Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara starting at the football field, and Sammy had the golf cart, and Sammy missed Matt Hardy. Then they went up some, I don't even know what it is, like a tractor thing, a truck thing, like where you dump trash, I guess. And they were both on top of that. There were 2 tables right in the bottom. And then Sammy spears Matt Hardy off the tractor onto the 2 tables. And Matt Hardy, his head completely missed the table. And his head hit the concrete hard as hell. So his head hit the concrete. The doctor immediately went over there. Matt Hardy was knocked out. Matt Hardy was knocked out. He was out for a few good seconds. Sammy Guevara was trying to get back there. They were telling Sammy to go back. And then they stopped the match. And then they lead Sammy out to the audience. And then Matt Hardy, all of a sudden, he's up. And they go right to the finish. And Matt Hardy, yeah, he won this thing. But, I mean, I really don't have any words for this. I don't know what to say. I was concerned and I was confused at the same time. They rang the bell to stop the match. So they were just going to call off the match because Matt Hardy wasn't able to continue. He's concussed. He went to the hospital after this match. I read Brian Alvarez tweeted that out. Matt Hardy was concussed. And then they ring the bell to restart the match. And thank God they cleared it up during the tag team title match. They're like, we got backstage information on Matt Hardy. The doctor checked on him. Matt Hardy said he was okay. So then the doctor asked him again. Matt Hardy said he was okay. He cleared Matt Hardy to continue the match. And they just went right to the finish because they knew that Matt Hardy was concussed and he wouldn't be able to make it longer. I mean, this was one of the most terrifying moments, I think, in a very long time. This was the most terrifying moment since Daniel Bryan landed on his head from a suplex to Drew Gulak at Elimination Chamber, if you guys remember that. Daniel Bryan landed right square on his head. Matt Hardy, who's 45 years old, does not need to be taking bumps like this. You save that for your younger guys. You save that for the Darby Allins and the MJFs and the Ray Phoenixes. You don't do that to 45-year-old Matt Hardy. You just don't do that. He does not need to put himself through that pain. And I felt so upset. I felt so terrified watching this. It took my mood down to a whole nother level, and I was just really concerned after this match. But I'm praying that Matt Hardy's okay and he will be able to be fine in the future. I'm praying he's okay. Now we get into the good stuff with the second half of the show, which started off with Thunder Rosa versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship. And like I said in the preview predictions, this match had to be the best match in AEW Women's history. And it's up there for one of the best women's matches in AEW history, along with Shida and Penelope Ford and Riho and Nyla Rose. This was a very good women's match. And like I said, not that. I mean, it kind of took my mood down a little bit because of the stuff with Matt Hardy, and I was looking on Twitter to seeing what was going on with Matt Hardy and if he was okay. I was really concerned about that, but I was still able to watch this match, and for what I saw, this match was very good. Shida retained like we all knew she was going to, and AEW, they need to sign Thunder Rosa. She's probably the most underrated female wrestler in the entire world. She's very good, and it would be a complete disappointment if they do not sign this woman to a contract. A huge disappointment. So this was a very good match. We moved on to an 8-man tag with the Dark Order, Brody Lee, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and Colt Cabana versus the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes, QT Marshall, Scorpio Sky, and Matt Cardona. This match was great. This is one of the better 8-man tags AEW has ever done since the pandemic. They have done a lot of 8-man tags. There's been a few duds. There's been a few good ones. This was a good one for sure. This was a good one for sure. Good storytelling. Brody Lee was crushing Matt Cardona in the beginning, destroying QT Marshall. Then Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, they had great offense. Colt Cabana even got in there. Scorpio Sky, he showed out a lot. He's very I can't even use underrated. He's one of the most best athletes in that AEW roster, and he will definitely be a TNT champion in 2021, in my opinion. He's just that damn good. Scorpio Sky is that damn freaking good. But the ending came where Brody Lee was about to put away QT Marshall. Dustin was reaching his hand out. Come on, QT. Brody Lee threw QT at Dustin. Dustin made the tag. And they were going at it back and forth with fist and knee strikes to each other. And Brody Lee hit Dustin with a discus lariat clothesline. Brody Lee then tagged in Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana did not go for the cover. Colt Cabana went to the top rope for the moonsault. He missed. Dustin Rhodes rolled up Cabana, and the baby faces got their victory over the Dark Order. And then backstage interview, Dustin was very happy that they did it for Cody. They defeated the Dark Order. They put the Dark Order down, and they got their revenge for Cody. And then it was told to Dustin that, per Tony Khan, Wednesday night on TNT for Dynamite, it would be Dustin Rhodes versus Brody Lee for the TNT Championship. Now, the promo by Dustin at the end was freaking incredible. That was incredible. That was really, really good, and you could hear the intensity out of Dustin Rhodes in that. The TNT title match on Wednesday night, I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be a great big man match. I was looking at Brody Lee and Dustin Rhodes face to face when they were going face to face tonight. You know, Dustin's almost taller than Brody Lee is. Dustin is a big boy. So I think this is going to be a great big man match for the TNT Championship. And more than likely, it'll probably main event the show on Wednesday night. So that match, I'm really looking forward to. The in-ring action in this match was really damn good. The story of the finish was awesome. That story, the finish was awesome. When Brody tagged in Cabana, he allowed Cabana to get the pin, but Cabana did not go for the pin, and he went for the moonsault, and then it costed him. That was great. And then Brody Lee, all pissed off, yelling at Cabana, marching backstage, all the Dark Order leave Cabana besides Evil Uno. He helps Cabana up, and he puts his hand around Cabana's shoulder, and he shrugs it off like it's alright. So, sooner rather than later, Colt Cabana is going to get kicked out of the Dark Order, or he's going to attack Brody Lee, and that's going to be a TNT Championship match at Full Gear on November 7th. It'll be Colt Cabana versus Brody Lee. You can count on that. This was excellent. I loved this. This was very good stuff here. FTR versus Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page. Folks, you can think of any division in the world. NXT has a good women's division. New Japan has a great main event scene. AEW's tag team division is the best division in any company, and AEW is the place for tag team wrestling. This match was fantastic. Fantastic. I loved this match so much. The pacing of this match was on point the entire time. They did not go full-fledged, full speed the entire match. If they did that the entire match, that kind of would have ruined it a little bit. But in the beginning, they were slow, and then they picked it up, and then it was slow, and then they picked it up with the finish. This was very, very good stuff. They told a great story. Could Hangman and Kenny get on the same page? Could Hangman not get in the head? Can FTR not get in Hangman Page's head? Well, towards the end, Hangman is holding Cash Wheeler, and Kenny goes for a V-trigger, and he hits Hangman Page and not Cash Wheeler. And then they take out Kenny Omega on the outside with a bulldog. They hit Mindbreaker on Adam Page. Adam Page kicked out. FTR hit another Mindbreaker on Adam Page. This time, Cash Wheeler held Kenny Omega, and FTR became the new AEW Tag Team Champions. I can't be any happier for FTR. I can't be any happier for these guys. They totally deserve it. They're the best tag team in the world. And now they're holding the most prestigious tag team titles in the entire world, which is, of course, the AEW tag team titles. Kenny and Hangman, they had a phenomenal run with the tag team titles for 7 months. It was time to hand over the titles to new owners, and those new owners were FTR. FTR got the belts. Then after the match, Kenny had a tray, a piece of guardrail, and he looked pretty pissed off. He was looking at Hangman with the guardrail, and he threw the guardrail. Hangman got up. Kenny kicked Hangman's beers away. Hangman got up. They're both standing in front of each other. Hangman collapses. Kenny moves to the side. Kenny did not catch Hangman after Hangman fell. Then Kenny rushed to the back. The camera guy is following Kenny in the back. The Bucks are like, where you going? Where you going? He's like, I'm out. He's like, what do you mean you're out? He's like, I'm leaving for the night. You guys can come with me. He's like, well, Kenny, let's talk this out. And he's like, we need to go back to our old ways back a few years ago. So, the cleaner, folks, Kenny Omega is coming back, and he's going after Adam Hangman Page. Clearly, after tonight, they're done. They're done after tonight. I consider what Kenny did to Hangman a heel turn. So, my opinion, Kenny Omega turned heel tonight at All Out. Fantastic stuff. Match was fantastic. Post-match stuff, that was great. And we got to Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy, which I thought was really good. I thought it was very entertaining. The match was fine. The ending was awesome. And I just find the fact that Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy, they have amazing, and I mean amazing chemistry together. They really do. They're on point every match. They did not have a bad match in their feud whatsoever. A feud that's going to go down as personally one of my favorite feuds of 2020. I mean, this feud benefited Orange Cassidy so much. And the whole goal was to get Orange Cassidy as over as possible. And Orange Cassidy got the win in this Mimosa Mayhem match. Cassidy was close to falling in the Mimosa the entire time. He kept his balance. Jericho kept trying to knock him. Cassidy hit Jericho with a move. Jericho's leg got into Mimosa, but not his full body. Then Cassidy gives Jericho an orange punch. Jericho doesn't fall. Cassidy throws the elbow pad down. He gives Jericho an orange punch again, and Jericho falls into the Mimosa, and Orange Cassidy wins the Mimosa Mayhem match against Chris Jericho here tonight, which was a really entertaining match in my opinion. I enjoyed this. I was very excited for this match. This was actually the match I was looking forward to the most, just to see how the Mimosa would be set up, and just because Jericho and Cassidy, it's been my favorite feud in AEW this year, next to the Inner Circle versus Jon Moxley. And Cassidy won the feud over Chris Jericho, and I'm telling you guys right now, this feud with Chris Jericho benefited Orange Cassidy to a whole new level. A whole new level. This was very good. Then they talk about Dynamite. We said we're going to get that TNT Championship match with Brody Lee and Dustin Rhodes. We're going to get a wedding between Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. By the way, Kip Sabian was backstage. And at the end of the interview promo, Kip Sabian held up a poster of his Twitch stream account. And he says, and it's the bottom said, approved by All Elite Wrestling. And that was clearly a shot at WWE, and that's a necessary shot, because WWE has banned wrestlers from all third parties. They can't use Twitch, Cameo, or TikTok, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. It shows how ridiculous and micromanaged Vince McMahon is to his wrestlers, and that they treat him. He treats his wrestlers like they're robots, like they are absolutely robots. I thought the fact that Kip Sabian did that and the bottom said approved by All Elite Wrestling, that was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious right there. And that was a awesome jab at the WWE. Main event, AEW World Championship. We had MJF versus the World Champion Jon Moxley. My voice is shot now. I was screaming the whole night from my couch. I believe it's almost 1 a.m. now, probably when I'm filming this, and I'm absolutely exhausted. But this was great. This was a great main event match. Moxley won by Wardlow tossing the diamond ring in the ring. MJF was covered in blood. He couldn't find it. He got it. Moxley caught him. The referee was distracted by Wardlow. Moxley hit the paradigm shift. Now remember, the paradigm shift was banned from this match. Moxley hit it without the referee looking, and the referee counted the 3. Now, the match was very good. I'm not going to go over it detail by detail because, like I said, it's close to 1 a.m. and I don't really want to do that. But this match was great. One of the best main events to a pay-per-view, I think, all year. They told a great story, and the in-ring action was very good in this as well. And then at the end, we got a stare down between Moxley and the new #1 contender, Lance Archer. MJF, he's gonna be fine. MJF is gonna be fine, folks. He's 24 years old. He got protected because Moxley wasn't allowed to use the paradigm shift, and he used the paradigm shift. MJF is going to use that to his advantage to eventually down the line get himself a world championship match on a future pay-per-view. Do I think he's going to use that now? No. For now, we're looking at Moxley versus Lance Archer for the World Championship, and that more than likely will get announced for the Full Gear pay-per-view November 7th. Overall, like I said in the beginning of the video, the first half was a complete bust. The second half, starting with Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida, was great. The last 5 matches of the show was absolutely great, and I really enjoyed it. And this turned out to be a really good pay-per-view at the end of the night. And I'm going to wrap it up here tonight. Thank you guys for watching the All Out 2020 review. We are at 200 subscribers, but hit that subscribe button still, man. We're growing every day, every week, every month. Excuse me. Here on Big Fight Fuel, we're going to keep growing and growing and growing. So hit that subscribe button. And again, thank you guys for 200 subscribers. I need you to comment down below. I need you to comment what you thought about tonight's all-out pay-per-view. Like I said, I thought it was a very good show tonight. Really good stuff. First half was a bust. The last 5 matches I thought were great. If you like what I had to say about this all-out review, hit that thumbs up, man. Hit the thumbs up, and then follow me on Twitter over at Conlin_Joseph. I'm getting out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed All Out as much as I did tonight. And I'll be back to you with a new fresh week of content for Monday Night Raw here on the Big Fight Field channel. So I'll see you Monday night for Raw. Have a good night and stay safe.